Hi ARMY lovers, how are you today? BTS's Jungkook? Not what you think. The responsibility to his family is huge. Jungkook BTS. The name, which has graced billboards around the world, has become a magnet for millions of fans from all over the world and is often referred to as one of the most perfect golden magne in K-pop history. But is it true that Jungkook's figure so far is a perfect reflection of what we see on the screen? Or is there something that has been deliberately covered up? On the other hand, a reality that is not highlighted by the camera, and it holds a burden that not everyone can bear. One statement that has recently shocked the K-pop community and rocked ARMY around the world came not from the agency, nor from the media, but from someone very close to Jungkook, his own family. And what they revealed made the public wonder. All this time we knew who. They say Jungkook is an icon of the younger generation, a young man whose life seems easy because of the fame and wealth that came to him as a teenager. But no one really knows, not even some of the ARMY realize, that behind all the spotlights and his dazzling smile, Jungkook carries the burden of being the boy who supported his family since his teens. Yes, before he reached legal age in South Korea, Jungkook was already the backbone of the family. It is not only a matter of material, but also of invisible emotional and moral responsibility in front of the camera. Jungkook was born into an ordinary family in the city of Busan. No one expected that this shy boy would one day become one of the brightest stars in the history of entertainment. But behind the path to the majestic stage, there were silent wounds buried deep. Many do not know that her decision to audition was not only because of the dream of becoming a singer, but also because of a great impulse, wanting to help her family get out of the trap of economic difficulties. Jungkook has always been a child who secretly kept the burden, said one family acquaintance who declined to be named. He knew from childhood that his parents worked hard to support them, and he wanted to repay them faster than anyone else. So when an offer from Big Hit arrives, a very young Jungkook, who hasn't even reached full high school age, takes a big step that changes his life. But behind contracts, training, and debuts, there is another side that the media never reported. How Jungkook started sending money home every month. How he bought the first house for his parents when he was not even 18 years old. While his peers were still struggling with school exams and homework, Jungkook was already talking to his financial manager and managing his family's household expenses. More astonishing facts. The luxury house that was once viral because it allegedly belonged to Jungkook turned out to have been bought for his family for a long time, long before the ARMY even knew the address. Reliable sources say that the house was bought in cash without the help of a bank. She doesn't want her parents to live under installment pressure, said an insider close to John's family. It is ironic that the figure known as the youngest idol in BTS actually has the mindset and responsibilities of a family head father. But the pressure is not without price. Jungkook experienced tremendous mental stress that he never showed in front of the camera. One BTS staffer once mentioned that there were moments backstage when Jungkook just sat quietly for hours, staring at his phone screen without saying a word. We never know what he's thinking, but he looks like he's carrying the whole world on his shoulders, the staffer said. What makes this story even more emotional is the confession of his own mother. On a rare occasion, Jungkook's mother mentioned that her son almost never asked for anything for himself. Whenever he gets a bonus or a big income, he always asks, "Yama, what do you need? I would never buy this for myself." Even his birthday, sometimes he just misses, said the mother with teary eyes. Jungkook is the kind of kid who feels the most guilt if he can't help his family. We never demanded it from him. This statement has become a matter of controversy in South Korea. Many netizens felt guilty because they had only seen the perfect idol side of Jungkook, without realizing that behind his appearance, choreography, and melodious voice, he was living a much heavier life than imagined. Even the hashtag Respect Jungkook appeared, which had become a global trending topic for several days in a row. But even more disturbing is the fact that Jungkook almost never discusses his family directly in front of the camera. It's not that he doesn't love them, quite the opposite. She didn't want them to be targeted by the paparazzi or dragged into a world of stressful glamour like her. One incident that became evident was when a reporter tried to interview his father in Busan, and Jungkook personally asked the media to stop the approach to his family. He wants them to live a normal life, said one of Big Hit's senior managers. That is the clearest proof that he has never forgotten where he came from. How can a young person who has not yet reached his 30s have such a great sense of responsibility? How can someone who is adored by the world still have room in his heart to continue putting his parents first when many other celebrities are trapped in egocentrism and glamour? The answer lies in Jungkook's upbringing and life experience. He not only grew up in an environment that taught hard work, but also grew up as a living witness of his family's struggle. Even as a trainee, Jungkook spent his nights writing letters to his parents rather than sleeping. Those letters are now collected privately by his family. As proof of the love of a child who never asks for anything in return, Jungkook's story is not just an inspirational narrative, but also an ironic reflection of the entertainment world that often forgets the human side of an artist. Many adored Jungkook for his good looks, talent, and discipline, but few understand that behind it all, there is a boy who quietly sheds tears when his family has a hard time. There are young men who are willing to restrain their personal desires for the sake of seeing their parents get a good night's sleep. There is a real Jungkook figure, not just a superstar, but also a boy who devotes his life to the family. And perhaps it's time the world saw Jungkook not just as an idol, but as a whole human being who once felt afraid, who once felt failed, who once felt inadequate, but still chose to stand up because there were people at home who pinned their hopes on him. Because ultimately, what makes Jungkook great is not just his voice, not just his athletic body, not just his fame, it's his heart. The heart of a child who never stops loving his family. Even when the world loves him more than anything else. If you think you already know Jungkook, think again. The real Jungkook is not the one you see on stage. Jungkook's true figure is in the little house where he used to grow up, in his mother's smile, in his father's hard work, and in every step he takes not for himself, but for his family. And that is the reason why, until any moment, he will remain the most beloved. Not because he is perfect, but because he is human. The real Jungkook? Not what you think. And precisely because of that, he deserves to be loved even more deeply.